Hey guys, welcome to the SureFire Live Show. I'm your host, Mark Stoner. Tonight I have a person from Justin from Chiirp software and texting platform is going to join us and be our guest tonight. I recently met him through a demo, and then I also saw his company at an event we went to that I talked about last week. Also, several too many companies in our industry have started using this platform, and I wanted to bring him on. Once he did the demo, he's like, "Hey, I'll be a guest on the show," and that worked out perfectly. So, welcome, guys. I need to check to make sure this is coming across Facebook Live because I've had issues with it. So, I'm going to check something real quick. Looks like it is coming across, and I can't see privacy settings. Let me make sure, because before it wouldn't let people see it for some reason, but looks like it's at a post. Looks like it's all working. Okay. All right, guys, like you know, it's a two-sided conversation. Looks like we got our first people starting to file in. So welcome. Man, we are hot and heavy into it in the busy season. I'm sure you are too. I'm in another group and they're like, what are you guys doing with the flu wiping your crew out? And, that's since COVID, the flu coming through can absolutely, we go overboard making sure everybody, back in the day, you kind of worked sick, you took some Theraflu, you took some stuff, you got out there and you're like, you're sick. Well, just take some medicine. You'll be okay. And those days are gone. You don't want to infect everybody. It's so infectious and a lot of people can get sick. So it can really wreck a service company. And if you guys got some answers, feel free to put them on the post tonight. But for us, we just try to book more time, more open space time for us to be a little more flexible, have some guys that are kind of on the back burner. Right now I've got a guy that's got a shoulder injury he's got a torn rotator cuff. So he's on light duty. So he's handling a lot of our, pilot light out calls. He's handling a lot of our phone calls to customers, doing FaceTime with customers, trying to use technology to solve some of these, customer service calls, rather than dispatching a van or a crew out to fix something really basic. We send a lot of videos out to customers of how to light the pilot light, how to do things. So we literally have to protect our most valuable resource, which is our technicians and their sanity during this time of year. Got first couple comments. Got a loud and clear here. Thank you very much. And good evening. Hey, Ferd, how are you tonight? Thank you for joining us tonight. So with that being said, I'm going to bring Justin on. I think he has an offer for the chimney industry, and we'll talk about that. And so let me bring him, and he's going to do a demo as well. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Good, man. You're very clear now. I can see you very clearly.
I wiped off that pizza stain we were talking about.
Wipe off the pizza grease off the video camera. So, man, tell us about yourself. Tell us where are you guys located? Are you guys an international company, national company? Where are you guys?
Yeah, so we're located in American Fork, Utah, which is like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes south of Salt Lake. If anybody knows Salt Lake City, Utah.
Beautiful area out there. Wow.
Beautiful area. Yeah. Right in the Rocky Mountains. It's cold as shit. Yeah. And I don't like the cold anymore, but it's beautiful. It's a good place to live. So our office is in American Fork. We're all in office as far as the employees at Chiirp. We don't do the whole remote thing. We're growing pretty quick. And so it's important for us to kind of have everybody in office and making sure that we're all up to speed.
Nice. Well, yeah, I was in Moab, Utah not long ago. How close is that to you?
3 hours.
Okay. Man, it was the hottest I've ever been in my life, was in Moab in the summer on a motorcycle. I was dying out there.
How cool is Moab though?
Oh man, we went to Monument Valley, we went to Moab, we did, it's so awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So man, tell the people who don't know what Chiirp is, give us a high level, and then let's go into the demo.
Yeah, absolutely. So really high level is Chiirp helps companies automate their follow-up, automate their outbound, and really close more deals. And then there's several stages there. Am I good to kind of just start presenting and I can just kind of go through this?
Yeah, feel free to just do the demo. Bring that screen up and I'll put it on and pull me out. Yep.
All right, sweet. So yeah, so at its core, Chiirp's an automation toolbox for home service businesses. We always say that automation is key to scale because automation is what creates efficiency, and efficiency unlocks scalability. There's a couple of things that differentiate Chiirp from any other texting platform or automation platform you'll find. Number one, we're specific to the home services. Because of that, we targeted the different home service CRMs. So we're currently integrated with Service Titan, House Call Pro, Sarah, Jobber, Service Monster, Job Nimbus. There's a couple of other ones that we're in the process of right now. But really, the real value of our integrations is our engineers a genius. And so we take full advantage of APIs and allows these companies to trigger really specific automated campaigns along the entire customer journey, making sure that the right campaigns being triggered to the right customer at the right time. And I'll get a little more into that here in just a bit. The second differentiator and one of the biggest value adds of Chiirp, in my opinion, is we're a lot different than most software companies you'll find. We didn't raise any money to start Chiirp. We're bootstrapped. We're already profitable. The only reason I bring that up is a lot of times customers are the ones that lose out in that situation, that lose out as far as the customer support goes. Yeah. Our customers are what got us to where we're at. And so we take a ton of pride in the support that we offer customers. When somebody comes on board with Chiirp, they not only get the software, but they get teamed up one-on-one with an automation expert to help them implement all of this, set up the triggers, build their campaigns, and just make sure that they're using the software efficiently. So just keep that in mind as I'm going through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, if you have any questions you want to throw out there that you might feel like other people would be interested in me answering, feel free to do that.
Yeah, I will. And again, audience, if you're watching this, as he goes through this, if you'll ask questions, he'll see them or I'll ask them so everybody can see them, and we'll do a demo together.
Sweet. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we break the customer journey up into 3 different buckets. There's the lead bucket where we're converting leads into customers, the job bucket where we're going out and doing the job, and then post-job follow-up. As far as the lead bucket goes, we talk a lot about increasing speed to lead. So this right here was a study that was done by a company called Salesforce. So it's not just a Chiirp study. If you go Google this, you can find several studies about speed to lead. And basically what the study shows is that anytime a customer submits their information through a lead form, it's crucial to be in the 1 minute window of responding to that lead, because chances of converting increase by almost 400%. And lead value drops by over half in less than a minute. By the way, I just totally forgot to mention this, but in this study, Salesforce did over 2 million form fill submissions.
Wow.
Anywhere a customer can submit their information through a lead form. So with companies we work with, that could be website forms, Facebook lead ads, Angie leads, Nextdoor leads, Networks leads, or any other lead source that has webhooks.
Okay.
But yeah, the study shows that when someone submits their lead info through a form like that, it's just crucial to be within that 1 minute window of response time. We don't have attention spans as human beings anymore with TikTok and Facebook and everything else going on. And so when it comes to leads, speed is the name of the game these days. Most companies we talk to fall in the 3 minute to 30 minute range, which is kind of a dangerous spot to be. And the reason I say that is because they're still converting leads there. And in business, when something is working, it's sometimes scary or hard to actually make a change. But we're not realizing what's being left on the table.
Right.
The reason most companies fall in that 3 minute to 30 minute range is because the way that it's working, again, this is just general for most companies, the lead form gets submitted, their company gets an email with that lead information, and they rely on a sales guy to pick up the phone and call that lead. And we see that if a company's doing an extremely good job at this, almost perfect, they're doing it in about 5 minutes. And that's pretty rare. The way Chiirp does it is the lead gets submitted, that lead information instantly gets pulled into Chiirp, and Chiirp starts the automated text message conversation within 30 seconds, putting us within that 1 minute window for maximum conversion. And then we can automatically pull that lead over to whatever CRM they're using, so there's no manual entry.
So I can tell you, just for a little other side of this, as a service provider, I say, you know what? Fine. If they got to wait 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or two a day for me to get back with them, I'm already busy. I'm not worried about that so much. Now, that is a old style way of thinking. And a lot of our industry, you know, a lot of them are so booked up, like, I don't care. But two things. One, as a customer, I want somebody to respond to me right now. Yep. I will buy your product. I'll buy your service. I'll buy your premium offer because that's what I like to buy. Secondly, that's old school thinking. And to me, to where you get the most market share in our industry, in any service-based industry, is speed. And we talk about it all the time. How fast can you get to the customer? I don't mean do the job fast and sloppy. I mean, how fast can you react? How fast are you talking to the customer? How fast are you getting the estimate to them? Therefore, that speedy customer is more likely to buy versus a customer that'll wait a long time for your lead. There's been all kinds of studies that if somebody will wait for you to get out there for 30 days or 2 months, they're also not in a rush to buy anything from you. They weren't in a rush to get you in the door. They're not in a rush to buy anything. So you start this big sales process. So just want to add a little color and flavor to that. Two sides of, I'm not worried about reacting that fast. And to me, in business, I'm trying to be faster all the time to get to the customer.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect, because really what we see, and I got a bunch of studies around this, I just don't have them pulled up, but companies spend thousands and thousands of dollars on lead generation, but they're not necessarily doing everything they can to convert those leads at the highest level.
Yes. That's right.
And just implementing something like this, where right when that lead gets submitted, boom, that person gets a text message conversation. They know you're a real company. You've connected with them right away. They have a phone number that they can text back or call back. Just adding something like that to your business alone will add a ton of value.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. Continue on.
Sweet. Just following that, I would say is the biggest return on investment that companies see with Chiirp. Like I mentioned, Chiirp automates all of your follow-up. There's a bunch of different stages here, and I'll get into those here in just a minute, but I would say two of those big stages are lead follow-up and estimate follow-up. When it comes to leads and estimates, most companies just aren't following up as much as they probably should. Most companies are calling once, twice, maybe 3 times, and then the lead or the estimate just kind of disappears. Again, we've put a lot of money into getting those leads. We've put a lot of money into going out and giving those estimates, and sometimes we're not necessarily doing everything we can to make sure they're converting at the highest level. A bunch of studies have been done around this. Some say that you want 8 touch points for maximum conversion. Some say 16. So we average it out at 12. It's hard for humans to do that. It's also very emotional for humans to do that. And so this right here is an example of how a company can run a campaign through Chiirp. We do multi-channel automation. Text message is the bread and butter these days. 95% of consumers prefer text as their preferred form of communication. It's got a 98% open rate, usually about a 15 to 50% response rate, depending on the campaign. We still do email, so you can add some branding and some longer messaging. And then we also do ringless voicemail. If you're on and you're not familiar with what that is, it's a pre-recorded voicemail, hits the inbox of the customer, shows up as a missed call, but it doesn't ring. So it's a really cool way to add a personal touch to any of your campaigns. And
before I knew what that was, I'm like, I don't remember missing this call. And that ringless voicemail, I like it because it actually doesn't bother somebody, but you get to leave a message and they can delete it if they don't want it. And it's, I really like that ringless voicemail option.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, I'll be honest, this is a little aggressive for a 10-day campaign, right? But it's just trying to paint a picture of what a campaign flow could look like. Let's say on day 4, somebody responds to the text message. Chiirp recognizes that, automatically stops the rest of that campaign so we don't continue to follow up. And that's where someone from their team takes over the conversation and closes the deal. So I just want to be clear. Automation is extremely effective. That being said, we're definitely not trying to take the human touch out of it. We're just trying to make your team more efficient and help your team close more deals, really, at the end of the day.
There's a comment here from Philip, and this kind of flows right into what you're talking about. He says, my issue is that people wanting a quick response when they message overnight or after business hours.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So within Chiirp, any campaign that you have running, part of that campaign, you can build in, okay, if someone responds to this campaign after 5 o'clock, for example, we can automate another text message to go out. So it could say something like, hey, really appreciate you reaching out. We want to get you taken care of. Unfortunately, we're out of the office right now, but we'll call you back right when we get into the office in the morning.
Right.
Did that answer that? I can't actually see the question, so
no, it's fine. If it did, and Philip, if you want to respond back, say yes, that answer. If you got to follow up, please do. He can't see the questions right now, and I'll just ask him. So thank you. Yeah, I think that's perfect, and especially if if that's how you do it. So then your office would get an email saying this customer is requesting service, came in overnight. Is that how it works?
So within Message Central, which I'll show here in a minute, it would a notification would come up that customer had reached out, and then it would also show that automated after hours text message had gone out, and then we can create an internal notification, whether that be an email, a text message, a Slack notification, Microsoft Teams, just to let them know to make sure to call that customer in the morning.
He said that's great. It answers this question, so thank you.
Perfect. Absolutely. From there, we move to the job bucket. Here we can do conversational appointment reminders. Totally understand a lot of people are already doing this in whatever CRM they're using, which is fine. Anything in Chiirp can be used or not used. We can send any images that we want through text message. We can also send any links through text message. So we have some owners right now creating little 2-minute videos on how the customer can prepare for their home or what they can expect from the visit. And they'll put a link to that video in the text message campaign. From there, we move to post-job follow-up. Here we can do customized review requests.
Hey, real quick, another question came in on the intake. He had Philip asked one more question. Does it integrate with Facebook or Google messaging at that point?
Both.
Nice.
We integrate with Facebook Messenger and Google Messenger. All of those messages flow into what we call Message Central. And so your CSR or whoever's working inside there responding to these customers isn't trying to work out of 2 or 3 different places to respond to people.
Thank you.
Great question. Awesome. Keep them coming. Thanks, everybody. By the way, I didn't say this, but I should have. Super grateful to have the chance to be on here. And thank you, Mark, for inviting us to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for bringing the topic up.
Yeah, so customized review requests. We can put your Google link straight in the text message. One really nice thing about Chiirp is from the minute a lead becomes a lead, all the way to post-job follow-up, the number the customer is getting texted from stays the same the entire time. So when we go to request a review after a job's been completed, they can see their entire conversation that they've had with you, which really tends to increase review conversion because they actually know who they're talking to, and they're not just getting a random text from a random phone number that they're not familiar with.
That's a great point.
All right. So after that, most companies are putting customers into like a post-job follow-up campaign. This has been a really powerful campaign for companies. And here's the reason why. Basically, what we would do here is at job complete, we would maybe build like a year-long campaign. The whole purpose here is just to add value to the customer without trying to sell them anything. So this could be a year-long campaign with some tips and tricks on how to keep up on a chimney, or seasonal reminders, or just a few different things like that to add some value to your customer, and at the same time keep your company top of mind. And that way, if they run out into anything, your company's been top of mind and they're going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Last but not least, on the high level overview, is message broadcast. This is by far the quickest way to make money through Chiirp. So when someone comes on board, your whole database of existing customers gets pulled into Chiirp. We can filter down audiences and we can blast out campaigns to get the phones ringing during slow season and really take advantage of customers that you've already paid for. So we just interviewed a company, Gensryan. They're a $40 million a year company, really well known for being front runners when it comes to picking technology. Anyways, one of the questions we asked their owner on that interview was, what lead generation advice and marketing advice would you give to a company looking to scale to your size? And his answer was really interesting to us. He said, I'm not just saying this because you guys are on the call, but a big shift for me happened when I stopped focusing so much energy on generating more and more new leads and started shifting my energy to taking advantage of my existing database of customers that I had already paid for and creating customers that would buy from me over and over again.
Well, I totally agree with that. I do the same thing when my, one of the hard things in the chimney business is making it a year-round business. And because in the spring and summer we slow down, and that's right when I've been saying it, and we do it a different way, but but we mine the database. We go through, and you're already doing this. We have to do it very manually. And what are the open estimates? Because almost every chimney company leaves. I mean, I don't care how small you are, you probably leave $1 million of estimates out there that didn't get converted because, we're in the bad news business a lot of times. We come to the house and we're like, hey, here's your fireplace, but it's got this issue. Like probably 80% of chimneys have something wrong with them. So we leave all these estimates and people weren't really ready to hear an estimate. They're like, hey, I thought I was doing a $300 service and now you give me a $3,000 estimate or whatever. And then they have to come back to it. But this process that you're talking about, this message broadcast where you break it down into annual services, open estimates that were left, warranty calls, like whatever the process you have, and you mine that through your slow season, you're building a year-round company that now can hire and train and grow versus just fighting the battle of being so busy in the spring or fall and winter and then dead in the spring and summer. This is a great message broadcast, and categorizing is just a beautiful thing you guys are doing.
You're doing a better job at explaining this than I am.
I've been fighting this battle for a while. You guys have are answering a lot of questions and healing some wounds.
Nice. Yeah. One of the other things about that is, most companies that come on board usually have a pretty decent sized database, right? And if they have touched that database, they've done it with email. So I just want to explain, like, we still do email. It has its place, and I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to get the phones ringing and you're looking for conversion, text message and email don't even compare. It's not even close.
That text message with a video link inside it, that's maybe some of the strongest things you could ever do. A message from the owner saying, hey, this is Mark from Ashbusters. It's our springtime. Thank you for being a great customer. Blah, 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 blah. And just some kind of personal, person to person real face there it's just gold right there.
Yep, absolutely.
Question real quick before you move on. It says, are you saying that it would enable us to add existing customers to an annual reminder to get them in during spring and summer?
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly what you're saying.
Great question. I'm just going to share another tab right now because I couldn't figure out how to share more than one tab.
Okay.
All right. So do we still have a few minutes, Mark?
Oh, we've got 40 minutes. You're good.
Oh, sweet. We're good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm jumping into the back end of the software now. What I just did was kind of went over a quick high-level overview of what we can do. Now I'm going to jump into the back end of the software and really show you how we do it. And so I'm just going to go into the integrations. I'm going to go into our Service Titan integration. But just keep in mind, if you use House Call Pro or Jobber or Service Monster, whatever CRM it is, it's going to be very similar. There are some different events and triggers, but overall, we can automate the same types of things. So here's our Service Titan integration. By the way, our integrations, I already mentioned it, but really, this is where the magic happens with Chiirp. Our engineer is a genius. So the nice thing is, you're not having to change anything. And again, this is just Service Titan, but just keep in mind it's similar for all of them. You don't have to change anything you're doing in your CRM. So for Service Titan, for example, you already have all of these high-level events that are being triggered by somebody on your team. So call completed, estimate, job scheduled, job rescheduled, job status change, job complete, technician dispatched, membership service event, membership expiration. Anytime one of those events is being triggered in your Service Titan, you can have automated campaigns running through Chiirp in real time. And you can get really laser targeted. So I'll walk you through just a few examples. For estimate follow-up, the way that we do that is we say, okay, when an estimate sent, then we can filter whether it's commercial or residential. We can filter according to estimate status, so open, sold, or dismissed. All their job types show up here, so they can apply any specific job types to a certain follow-up. Same thing with business units, membership status, technicians. We can include any tags, exclude any tags, and then we can even apply a specific job value. So a lot of companies we work with, if they've got a high-ticket estimate opportunity, they trigger a more aggressive campaign. And then we come down to select a campaign.
Explain that real quick. What do you say that again?
So if they've gone out and given an estimate and it doesn't close, and we want to start following up with that estimate, if that's a high ticket estimate,
maximum total range, $100,000.
Yeah, so this would follow up on anything between $4,000 and $100,000.
I see. Yeah, you're not following up aggressively on a $200 thing.
$200 estimate. You could if you wanted to. This just gives companies the ability to be as targeted as they want to.
Sure. Start high and work down as the schedule fills up, or doesn't fill up.
Exactly. So then we come down to select a campaign. All of your campaigns within Chiirp show up here that have been pre-built in the campaign builder over here on the left. And we pick the campaign that we want triggered according to all of this criteria. So in Service Titan, when an estimate sent and it matches all of this criteria here, whatever campaign we have picked down here is automatically triggered through Chiirp. So we have some companies that have 3 or 4 different estimate follow-up campaigns based on how targeted they want to get with job types, business units, tags, value. We have other companies that want to keep it a little more simple, and they just trigger the same estimate follow-up campaign for any estimate.
Mm-hmm. Got a couple of quick questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
What level of work is involved in integrating Chiirp with, say, Service Titan?
Yeah, great question. So it usually so the integration happens automatic. So when somebody signs up, we get some information from you in regards to your Service Titan, but everything's pulled over automatic as far as your database, your job types, business units, tags, etc. At that point, it's a matter of onboarding. I always do my best to set people up for success. I don't want someone to get the software and be like, oh my God, it's unfortunately, Chiirp's not your plug and play software. It takes some time to get set up. It usually takes about 2 weeks to initially get set up with a core set of campaigns. When I say core, I recommend companies pick about 3 campaigns that they want to implement immediately, as opposed to trying to do 10 things at once. It just makes onboarding that much smoother and quicker. And then we continue to build from there. Mm-hmm. And then you do have your automation expert that you would work with. Part of that comes with done for you automation. We actually build your campaigns for you. We do ask for a 3-day notice, but you give us a 3-day notice and the content for the campaign, we'll build the entire thing for you and set up the triggers and put it into your account.
So like for a company like mine, I have a marketing schedule of marketing calendar of what is going to drop in certain times of the year. So we would get your person on board with that to know, hey, in the spring we're going to launch our leaky chimney campaign. In the summer we're going to launch our fireplace facelift campaign. In the winter, we keep your fire in its place campaign, where it's about chimney sweeping. So we would set up a marketing calendar with you, and your person would follow along and make sure those campaigns drop as needed.
Exactly. Yep.
Another question
Yep.
from Clyde says, are the messages sent to customers technician specific or company specific? So from the field, or when you're going back and forth, is it coming? You said it's coming from a certain phone number, so I'm going to assume it's from the company, and it's mostly outward bound marketing, not communication between the technician and customer. Is that correct?
It is and it isn't. So it is coming, usually from one phone number. You can have multiple phone numbers if you want to. As you can see, also part of the integration is it includes technicians, so we can add technicians to any follow-up. That being said, it's usually a CSR working inside Message Central, which I'll show you in just a minute, that's basically responding to all of the campaigns that are running through Chiirp.
So like right now we have one girl that we have an aggregator of this, but it's different. But one person aggregates it and sends the messages out. But in your case, you're saying you could have, say, you could pick Clyde's response, Clyde as a technician, and would it have his responses or just general responses?
No. So basically in the text that goes out, it could say, hey, John, this is Justin with Chiirp. This technician just came out and left you an estimate. Just wanted to see if you had any questions. We'd be happy to answer those for you. Please feel free to call us back or text us back at this number.
I see.
It's usually not a technician that's like in Message Central responding to the campaigns.
Yeah.
It's usually a CSR that's doing that.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Did that make sense? I just want to make sure.
Clyde, let me know if it made sense to you. But it sounds like, to your question, I think it's not coming from the technician. It might reference the technician,
yes,
but it's more of the overall office is checking up or offering. Yes. Hey, we've got a thing. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
All right. A few other things, and I know everyone does things differently. I'm just kind of showing some different ways companies are using it. One of the things we're realizing is we're not just creating efficiency through like estimate follow-up, but really what we're doing is we're filling gaps where customers are falling through the cracks, and we don't necessarily have the best system in place to get that customer back on the books. And one of those big campaigns right now is called a job scheduled cancellation campaign. So a customer schedules a job and then they cancel on us. The way that we trigger that, the event is job status changed, and then we have these new statuses. One of them's canceled. And then we would come down and we'd pick the job scheduled cancellation campaign. An example of what that would be is day one, a text message that goes out. Hey, saw that you canceled your scheduled service with us. Is there anything we did wrong? Day two, hey, just checking back in. Are you still in need of any services? We'd be happy to help you. Day seven, hey, it looks like you're not currently in need of any of our services. If anything changes, please let us know. So we're just creating small efficiencies along the entire customer journey.
It's like that empty cart, or that cart thing that happens. If you put something in a cart but don't check out, then it triggers this thing. Hey, you left something behind. You sure you don't want it? And sometimes I did forget it. I thought I hit the button and I didn't. Sometimes I would just mess around and didn't want something, but I like that. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good example. At call completed, we can do abandoned call campaigns. So, hey, saw that you called in. Really sorry missed you. We'd love a chance to answer any questions you have. Feel free to call us back or text us back at this number. We can do unbooked call campaigns. A lot of times companies will trigger a coupon or a discount to any calls that get marked as unbooked. At job scheduled, we can automate a financing link to go out to get people pre-approved for financing before we even get into their home to give them an estimate. If you do memberships, we can do membership expiration campaigns to get people renewed for their membership. And a lot of companies are doing this manually, trying to keep up on their membership.
We were.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say we were.
Yeah. Most companies are, to be honest. They're trying to keep track of their memberships. They're trying to make sure people are getting renewed. And this is just a really simple way to automate that. We can do the same thing with the membership service event to remind people about their service event that's due within their membership.
So, well, for us, a lot of us do lifetime warranty repairs, like on liners, and certain kind of repairs have lifetime warranties with annual inspection. And so you're saying this is where you trigger your annual in the spring, in your off season, you trigger these things to go out to make sure, one, they get their warranty taken care of, and two, you keep your crews busy when you're maybe not as busy.
Yep, exactly. So that is, hopefully I know this is a lot of information to process on one phone call, but that's kind of a good high level overview of the integration. Any other questions there, Mark?
Yeah, so I think this is a follow-up. He said, so questions would be answered by the CSR and not by the technician. So I think you answered that. It's going into one central place. And as a technician, you're not going to see that central place. The CSR may reach out to the technician and say, hey, I've got a customer asking about this. What's the answer? But it's all coming from a centralized person on the software, correct?
Absolutely. So that's what we're looking at right now. So it's called Message Central. It's a central messaging hub. Again, it's usually a CSR working inside of here. It's color coded for your team. The customer doesn't see this. Peach messages are ringless voicemails. Green messages are automated text campaigns. Gray is when the customer responds. Blue is when somebody from your team takes over the conversation down here. Gotcha. And to kind of go back to, I don't remember who asked that question, but does it integrate with Facebook Messenger and Google Messenger? It does. So this is Message Central is a central messaging hub. So it also has all Facebook Messenger messages with that customer, Google Messenger messages, email, and site chat, which is just a little widget that goes on your website that customers can chat into. All flow into one spot. So your CSR is not trying to work out of 2 or 3 different places to respond to people.
On the site chat thing where people are talking to you on your website, that's not your product, right? You just link to that product, or that is your product?
That is our product.
Okay.
That is our product. So ours is a text chat. So the little site chat pops up. The customer can submit their name, phone number, question. And because we're getting their phone number, we can automate a text message to go out right when they submit that. Mm-hmm. And then it would show up here in Message Central, and the CSR could still be talking to them in real time, but they're doing it through a text message conversation as opposed to like an online chat, which one of the other benefits there is we have their phone number now, so we can continue to nurture that lead.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Kind of one last thing I'll go through here. This is Message Broadcast. This is the tool that we can really use to take advantage of your existing database of customers. So we can filter down audiences automatically on the right. Once we have the audience we want, we just select it. So I've got 98,000 people here. And then we can come up to select an action, and we can do all these different things to that whole audience. We could send a text. We can send an email. We can send a ringless voicemail. We could start a campaign, which can have a combination of all 3. All of your campaigns within Chiirp show up here. So we just pick the campaign we want going out. Here's where we decide how often we want it going out. Again, I've got an audience of over how many people? 98,000 people. Yeah. You don't want to blast 98,000 people at once with a text message. I promise it'll overwhelm your team. We have people that, you just want to be strategic about this. So here's where you can say, okay, out of that audience, I only want this going to 150 people every day or every 2 days or every 3 days. That could also be filtered by hours or weeks. We pick the times that it's allowed to go out, because maybe we don't want it going out after 4 o'clock. We pick the days that it's allowed to go out, because maybe we don't want it go down on the weekends. We can exclude holidays here, and then boom, we just click process action. So in this case, the $89 precision tune-up would go to 150 people every day between these hours on those days until that entire list of 98,000 people is up.
That is awesome.
Or until you can. Right there.
What's that?
I said that's the moneymaker right there.
That is so good. That automated just smile and dial, but automated, so the phone rings in. And you could also set it to where you got customer service people sitting there from say 2 to 3 o'clock every day.
Oh yeah.
2 to 4. Here's where it is. We're gonna have people ready every day. This is when the blast comes out. Like totally predictable. Or hey, Mondays are super busy, so let's not do it on Mondays, Tuesday through Friday, or whatever. Man, I love that. I love that flexibility that you have with that.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I was just going to go over one last thing. Is I might have already said that one time. One last thing.
Oh, you can keep saying one last thing. We still got 20 minutes if you need it.
I try not to like overload information because like I know it's a lot to process on one phone call. I talk about this stuff every day, and sometimes I wonder if people are actually processing what I'm going over. But
I think you're real clear. I think the process is easy. I'm assuming people are following along pretty well. And if not, they can email you and go through it again at their own speed. So
sweet.
I think you're doing great.
Awesome. So this right here, our big push for 2023 was data. We really wanted companies to know what was working, what wasn't working, but we didn't want to build that ourselves. And the reason we didn't want to build it ourselves is because we wanted people to really be able to trust the data. And so we integrated with a third party. It's a company called Searchlight Digital, super cool company. They have a data API that goes onto your CRM, and it allows any customer within your CRM to be mapped to your Chiirp campaigns. And so we can actually attribute revenue dollar for dollar because it all ties back to the specific customer within your CRM that closed in your Chiirp campaign.
Interesting.
So this is the last week for this company. Over here on the left, these are all the campaigns they have running through Chiirp. Looks like they have about 12 campaigns they're running through Chiirp right now. Across those campaigns, they've chirped at 460 people. That's how many unique customers have received a text, email, or ringless voicemail. Next to that, we can see response rate, 18%. Booked customers, 43. Next to that's potential revenue, which is a little over $100,000. So potential revenue is the combination of open revenue, which is open estimates, sold revenue, which is sold estimates that haven't actually closed out yet, and then actual closed revenue. So they've closed, almost $80,000 in the last week. This is a big company, by the way. I understand results will always be different, but and then we can come to each campaign and we can get really specific to see what's working, what's not working. Let's look at an estimate follow-up, for example. Number 4, open estimates over $3,000. There's 59 people in that campaign, 16 responded, 3 booked, and then we can see the average ticket size, which is just over $5,000. And then again, we can see open estimates in that campaign, sold estimates, actual closed revenue. So they've closed just over $17,000 in that campaign in the last week. And then the really cool thing, and I can't show this on here, but you can come up to customer list and it will bring up the name, email, and phone number of every customer across each of these campaigns, who booked, and whether they have an open estimate, sold estimate, or actual closed revenue, so that it all tracks back to ServiceTitan 100%.
That's fascinating. Tell me something.
Call Pro or whatever CRM.
Whatever you have LinkedIn.
Yep.
On the open estimates, just to clarify what that's saying, it's saying 0 in open and 0 in sold. Why would it say that when it is sold on the books but not completed? Is that what that means?
Yes.
And open means you've actually closed any bids that you gave. They're all closed. Is that what 0 means right there?
So open means they don't have anyone in an open estimate follow-up campaign right now. Like
does open estimate mean, what's that mean to you, open estimate?
They're a ServiceTitan company. So open estimate in ServiceTitan means that the customer has not accepted the estimate.
I see.
Once it's accepted, it either accepted or denied. It either moves to sold or dismissed.
I got you. It's sitting there without a decision.
Yep.
They haven't said yes or no. Once they decide that, then it's not open.
Exactly.
question. So then this is more of a comment. Clyde says, it sounds like a great way to get annuals out of the way of new customers, during busy season. Like one of our issues in the chimney industry is taking care of our old customers right in busy season, where if we would have done a good job marketing to them and given them enough offers, they would be out of the way in the spring and summer. And then in the fall, all the new customers have access to it versus, because in our world also, past customers don't spend as much money with us as new customers do, because they've already done the repairs, they've already found the issues, ideally done the work. Sometimes that's not the case, but so this is a way that and I agree with this. Is, if you're busy right now and you're listening to this isn't a right. I mean, this is a right now thing, clearly, but a lot of chimney guys are super busy. What this is when that phone changes, this marketing thing can make that phone ring year round with years of data that you can upload into your system, right? I mean,
yeah. I always tell companies there's kind of two reasons that people use Chiirp. One is what you're talking about. During slow times, it's really pretty simple to again take advantage of those customers you've already paid for and get the phones ringing. The second reason people use Chiirp is if they are busy, because they're not going to do a bunch of big blasts if they're already slammed. But what they can do through Chiirp during those times is create efficiency through estimate follow-up, efficiency through canceled jobs, efficiency through abandoned calls or unbooked calls, efficiency through automating the financing link to go out at job scheduled to get people pre-approved for financing. So there's kind of your one-to-one automation, which that's what companies use it for during busy season. And then you have your kind of big blast, and people are using that more when things kind of slow down.
That's a great point. I think also it helps, like when you're real busy, sometimes you forget to talk to people and people say, I tried to call them, they never called me back, that kind of thing. This knocks that out. You were communicated with at some level, and it filters it down for your CSR to be able to handle the real questions or the questions you really need a person for. People will feel, it seems like, really well communicated with if you set this up on the front end.
Yep.
There's no, hey, I called them 5 times and nobody answered, or there's, I'm trying to get a hold of them and nobody's responding. Those days are past.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, since you told me I could show you, a couple of other things.
Yes.
It's like I'm back in Message Central. CSRs really like this feature. So let's say somebody responds to a campaign. And they're like, hey, I really want to talk to you, but I'm busy. Your CSR can actually write out their message, and then they can come over to this little clock, and they could say, let's say the person says, oh, I want you to reach out to me Friday at 9:00 a.m. They can come over here to Friday.
Oh my gosh.
They can say, okay, they want them to reach out at 9:00 a.m. And then they push enter so they can handle that task right then and there. But that text message wouldn't actually go out until Friday at 9 a.m. And that way the CSR is not having to put notes everywhere. And
oh my gosh, that is good. That is so good.
So awesome, man. I do think that that's kind of everything that I was going to touch on today. Again, happy to answer any more questions if those come up. We also had an offer that I wanted to talk about a little bit. So
a couple things. Yeah. So I got a comment, game changer. That's so good. And so, well, real quickly, you told me there's a couple you're working in the chimney industry quite a bit now. You've got Lindemann, you got my friends Felgemacher, you got several other chimney companies that have come on board. In fact, I heard about it from other chimney companies about how they were using it. And so how is it? Chimney industry pretty much the same as all your other industries you're in?
It's blowing up. Yeah. I mean, we've worked with several companies that came on board when they were a little slow and did something like, okay, I'm going to do $100 cleaning inspection. Anyone I haven't serviced in 12 months or longer, and filled up their calendars for a couple of months. They actually had their initial there's a couple different companies I'm thinking of, but their initial campaign said only for the month of July. And they got so many responses from it that they had to push that coupon out
Sure.
into
Love
August
it.
and September just to take care of those customers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're seeing big results. It's no different, really. At the end of the day, I already mentioned it, but we're putting a lot of money into generating leads, and we're paying a lot of money into going out and giving estimates. But when
Yeah.
it comes to follow up, unfortunately, we're not always following up as much as we probably should.
For
And
sure. We're not.
so,
For sure.
yeah.
Um, so you were getting this is a friend of mine. He always has to say some shit on here. He's so funny though. We have a great relationship. He's from Cali and he's got that anyway, he always has to say something. Good to see you, JJ. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. So there are pricing plans. I can
Yeah.
see the questions.
Yeah, so you froze up. Did I freeze up? Did you freeze up?
I think I don't know who rose up right there.
Okay. So yes, go into the pricing plans, please.
Okay. So there are some different pricing plans. It's usually going to range depending on the size of the company, but it's usually going to be about $650 a month to $850 a month, depending on the size of the company and whether we want the Searchlight digital data dashboard or not. We pay Searchlight extra for each of those accounts. If you have a database of over 25,000 customers, it is $1,500 a month. That would land under enterprise at that point. One really cool thing about Chiirp, we don't do contracts. We're month to month. We are big on winning our customers' business every month. We believe in our products, so there's no need for us to tie people into contracts.
So you said 650 for, say that prices one more time.
So 650 for Chiirp if your database is below 25,000 customers and you don't want the Searchlight digital data dashboard.
Okay.
$850 a month if you do want the Searchlight digital data dashboard and you're still under 25,000 customers in your database. If you're over 25,000 customers, it's $1,500 a month. And that does include the Searchlight digital data dashboard.
So literally it's 25,000 to unlimited. Like that one price is, because we've got like a couple 100,000 in our database. I was telling you guys this the other day. I don't think we will import our whole database because it's super old, but a chunk of it. But
yeah, it's a good question. It goes up $250 every 25,000 customers.
Oh, I see.
So it's usually pretty rare that we have someone that goes much above 50,000, but so 25 to 50 are at 1,500, 50 to 75,000, you'd be at 1,750, 75,000 to 100,000, you'd be at $2,000. And then, yeah.
How much time would you say, a CSR would need to spend with this program a day or a week? Like, because clearly somebody's got to manage it. Somebody's got to do it. Once you get it set up, I mean, just to really use it, what kind of a time, input are we going to have?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You're going to want a CSR working inside Message Central.
Yeah.
Pretty much while they're at work.
It's open. It's almost like you're going to have another screen with it.
They're going to have another screen open. Yeah, it's just the way it is. We got campaigns running all the time. And again, it's great if somebody responds to one of those campaigns, but we got to make sure we're taking advantage of that when someone does respond to the campaign. Right. So they're pretty much going to want to be in there just responding to, we do have an Apple app and an Android app as well. So if they're ever, on the road, they can respond straight through the app. But yeah.
Okay. So, I've put his contact email up. I do have his, let me move this over. I have your phone number too. If you guys want to reach out to him, this is his phone number, 385-285-9496. It's Justin. He'd be happy to go over this with you. Man, our timing is perfect. We've got a couple minutes left. Anything else to add, or are you going to be at any of the chimney shows coming up? There's an NCSG show. There's HPBA. Do you guys have any booths at that?
We're going to get a booth. I just got back from 8 events in a 2-month period.
Yeah.
So we're just putting together like our next kind of schedule for events. So we will be at some of those. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to mention is, we're super grateful to have the chance to be on here and grateful for our relationship with Mark. And so we just want to throw out an offer, just hopefully to add some value to Mark and everything that he's trying to do for the industry. And so we're offering 25% off the first 3 months and 25% off the onboarding to anyone that decides they want to schedule a demo, and if they decide they want to sign up.
Well, thank you for that. I thought the first thing was the offer with the regular pricing. So you're saying 25% off for 3 months of the service, and then 25% off the onboarding. And that was a price too for bringing you on, the time it takes to get you up. It's month to month, cancel anytime. If you're not winning the business, you can cancel it if you need to.
Anytime.
That's awesome, man. Kurt, thank you so much. A couple more comments real quick. Let me make sure I catch them all. Is there a set onboarding cost?
Yeah, there is. So onboarding is normally $1,000. So you would get the 25% off. So it'd be $750. And I think I already touched on this a little bit, and I know we're running out of time, but all of those packages I just talked about, one of the main things that those come up with, if you go to our website and look at our pricing, it will say it comes with done for you automation. That's where you will be teamed up one-on-one with an automation expert. We build your campaigns for you. Again, we ask for 3-day notice to build that campaign. We set up all your triggers, whatever CRM you're using, Service Titan, House Call Pro, whatever it is. And we really make sure that you're using the system efficiently. So I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I've been in the software world for 17 years. I know one of the big pain points for companies implementing new software is it can be a pain in the ass to get stuff set up.
Yeah,
it can be to learn a new software. Yeah. And we totally understand that. So we're not perfect by any means, but we genuinely care about our customers and do our best to make sure they're taken care of.
So JJ's the California guy, and you saw me put, he goes, is that a LA Dodger hat? Because if it is, I know it's a scam. That's hilarious.
Thanks, JJ. I'm from Utah. We don't have any sports teams out here, so you got to pick your team. But thanks for rubbing that one in.
All right, perfect. Hey, man, thank you so much. Hey, guy, and I hope we see you again at some of our events. I know you've been a road warrior, but very informative. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks to everyone who was on. And feel free to reach out to me if you're interested. So.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, thanks.
Man, this was a great demo. I saw the demo the other day and with him, and even learned more the second time. So I'm sure if there was a lot, like he said, coming out tonight, and if you want to go through it again, I'm sure he'd be happy to do that. And I love some of the new software and the new things that are happening in our industry. There's going to be a lot of that. When I see it, I'm trying to bring it to you guys. So we need to move our industry forward. We're a little bit behind. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, these guys are ahead of us in sophistication and things. But we're growing at a good rate. And the next generation, some of us older guys are like, I don't need all that. But the next generation guys are super interested. And the guys like me that are still in growth mode are super interested in what is it going to take, because some of these things help your team without having to grow your team. They make your team so much more efficient versus adding another person to do a thing. That's where our growth and efficiencies are going to really help in the service industry, adding more trucks without adding more overhead and doing some of this mind-numbing work that nobody wants to do anyway. Nobody wants to do follow-ups. Nobody wants to do this stuff. So have it automated so that we know it still needs to get done, but it gets done. You run a better service company, and ideally you make more money. So we got a couple thank yous. Says Justin Judd is the best. I know he's still backstage. I hope you still see that. Thanks, Mark. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I will see you next Tuesday. See you. Bye.